by many historians as the king of the classic consoles. But even those guys don't know the whole shocking story behind the good old 2600.
A playful rat, a hatchet, the mob, and porn. Sounds like a bad comic book, huh? Believe it or not, they all play a role in the real-life story of the system that forever changed the video game industry. In 1972, Nolan Bushnell and a handful of young developers form Atari, Japanese for Target, with $250 and an idea for a game called Pong.
We go to the banks, try to borrow money, but they just assumed that all the coin-operated entertainment, pinball machines and stuff, was all kind of mob-controlled, and they weren't going to loan us any money.
Fortunately, Atari finds braver investors. Bushnell and his team assemble a prototype and roll it into a bar in Sunnyvale, California.
The bartender called me up and he said, hey, it stopped. So I went down to fix it and opened up the cash box, and quarters just gushed out on the floor.
Jackpot! They generate so much cash, they have to arm themselves to collect.
So we went to the city of Berkeley and asked about getting a weapons permit. They frowned upon that. We said, well, is there any restriction on other weapons? No, it's just firearms. So you did occasionally have the image of me walking down carrying the quarters and my hatchet. And we looked crazy enough that it actually worked.
Pong leads to other lucrative Atari cabinets, and home Pong, which leads to the genius idea for endless living room-based gaming fun.
We had all the coin-op games to work from. So our first approach was to take the successful coin-op games and put them into cartridges for the 2600.
The Atari 2600 is born and rushed to stores just in time for the 1977 holiday season. Retailing for $249.95, the sleek console is bundled with the addictive arcade battle game Combat. Atari quickly becomes a household name.
Have you played Atari today?
All of a sudden, we were getting clippings from all around the country. It was on television, it was on Saturday Night Live, and we're just a bunch of guys sitting out here in Silicon Valley, and it's just gone mad.
Sales skyrocket in 1980 when Atari becomes the first video game company to license an arcade game, Space Invaders. The angry aliens help Atari sell 2 million units that year. More top-notch titles are released as console sales doubled to 4 million in '81 and a record-shattering 8 million in 1982. During its reign, some 800 titles are designed for the 2600. Atari's original creation, Hereâs Revenge, is a mega hit. One of the first video games with a backstory, it features a hidden homage to Atari CEO Ray Kazar, known to some as the Czar.
I made up the name, Hereâs Revenge. Now, Yar is Ray spelled backwards, and Hereâs Revenge is set in the Rayzak solar system. Now, Rayzak is Kazar spelled backwards.
Pretty clever. But not every game Atari creates is a home run. The world's most popular arcade game, Pac-Man, barely scores on the 2600. And while the movie was a blockbuster, the rush job E.T. the Extraterrestrial is the biggest bomb, dubbed by many critics as the worst game ever. Legend has it, Atari dumps millions of unsellable games in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico. A pile of other problems mount, trashing Atari's reputation. Third-party developers release unauthorized porn-based games for the 2600. Angry moms, feminists, and Native Americans protest the infamous Custer's Revenge. By 1983, under the reign of Kazar, nearly all of the original Atari staff quit or are fired. Like developer Warren Robinette, who mounts the first Easter egg rebellion. And Atari founder Nolan Bushnell, who goes on to turn Pizza Time Theater into the ultimate birthday party zone, Chuck E. Cheese's.
They replaced Nolan with other management who had no appreciation for the kind of technology required to create these products, and to see the decline of Atari was just very painful.
The rising popularity of the home computer is the final nail in the coffin. But what a ride it was. The 2600 is discontinued in 1991, the longest production run of a game system in history. And it all started with a friendly game of Pong.